the more I got to know this dude, he was a dark person who was self-centered. He stopped talking to me because I believed something different than he did.
Yeah.
Hello everyone, this is Knockoff West Huff again. Today we're talking about the scholar extraordinaire Ammon Hillman, everybody's favorite Greek scholar in the world, right? Right. So today we're talking about his experiences with the person known as Gnostic Informant, or Neal. And Neal and Ammon have been friends for a long time. Neal has been in a long list of videos of Ammon's. Ammon's been in a long list of video of Neal's. So Neal's had like Greek lessons from Ammon. One of the very first topics that we had talk about Ammon was when he debated Kip Davis on Gnostic Informant's channel. So yeah, so they go way back. They're friends. And not only that, but in another video, we showed how Neal actually went through the initiations of Ammon's cult-like group. Today, we're going to listen to what Neal has to say about their current relationship and what his opinion is on some of Ammon's scholarship. What we're going to talk about is from a channel called Me, Myself, and Alice, titled, What Do Gnostic Informant Danny Jones, David Hillman, and Eros Have in Common? Find out here. So it's about midway through the video, and what we're about to hear is really, really telling about Ammon and how he treats people in his scholarship.
I have a friend like that he's all about the Hail Satan stuff, and I thought it was all a joke, and he was a good dude. But then the more I got to know this dude, he was a dark person who was self-centered.
They run. Do you see me? I am a giant, and no one can stand before me. Not the head of Dallas Theological Seminary's Greek program, and certainly not this guy.
And there was something dark there.
Yeah.
So there's some, that I'm not gonna talk crap right now because some people watch this know who I'm talking about.
Yes, Neal, we know.
But he's like Orlando, where he thinks he's like some prophet or something.
I will bring you all low. I am Ammon. That's fantastic. Oh, give me the. I'm sorry. I really went there this time. Holy mackerel. Did you see that, Timmy? No!
Chew, no, don't get excited. Are we losing you too to this?
Yeah, that bothers me. Yeah,
he's messed up.
People worship this.
Yeah,
they see it and they're like, "This is different. I like it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get into it."
He's got a following like that.
Yeah.
He gets thousands of people watching him when he's live.
Yeah,
look, I used to love this dude. We were friends and stuff, but then he stopped talking to me because I believed something different than he did.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you believe it was if you automatic. It was like I had to follow him fully.
He's like red flag or blue flag.
Right. No, but this is the type of person who is so dogmatic about what he believes in.
Danger.
That if you don't believe in what he believes in, he told me I needed to be purged. All right. That was the last time I talked to him. That was the last time I talked. Yeah, he said you need to be purged. I'm going to tell you this right now. Everyone who's watching is going to know exactly who I'm talking about. So I'm just going to give it up. There's a debate, and it's not really a debate. Scholars believe that the Old Testament was written in Hebrew and translated into Greek. That's what it's true. That's what happened. There's this one PhD Greek expert who thinks it was the other way around, that the Greek came first and the Hebrew was a translation. Now, I've weighed these arguments as hard as I can because I wanted to know if he was right. I became friends with this guy. And I wanted to know if he was correct. And I weighed these arguments and I really, really gave him the benefit of the doubt. Try to find out, listen to his arguments, followed him all the way to the end. Is the Greek the original or is the Hebrew the original? And he was wrong. He's just flat wrong. There's just so much evidence that the Hebrew came first. When he found out that I believe.
So it's like, okay, what is this wild thing that Ammon saw Neal believing? What did Neal do that made Ammon essentially kick him out of his clan, kick him out of his group? He believed that the Hebrew text was written before the Greek text. Like, okay, maybe it's not the full story, but that's what he's saying, okay? Neal is one of Ammon's closest people that we see online. He's in, as I said, a bunch of videos. He had Greek lessons with Ammon. Like, he knows him better than probably anybody else. And this is what Ammon gets upset over, and he basically won't talk to him about. That's wild.
Leave the opposite thing as him. He told me I needed to be purged and never talk to me again.
Damn.
He sounds like a flat earther or some shit.
Yeah. Now this guy's a Greek wizard though. He's an actual PhD. He used to be a professor. He got fired for going too hard in school. He was teaching. He was going way too hard.
Accepting new information.
He got fired. Now I read the reports about when he got fired. It was like 2008 or something. He got fired from a Catholic university. He was a teacher of the Greek classics, and the students had his back. They're like he was a great teacher. So I was like, I had his back too, and I still have a lot of respect for this dude.
Right.
But he's so dogmatic.
Too far gone.
By the way, sure, maybe the students or the professors had his back, but maybe they probably wouldn't have his back if they saw the actual report. You can check out my video on that. With that being said, just to keep it real short, he was fired for sexual misconduct. Like, there's not really a debate about it, no matter what Ammon tells other people.
He's so far. He won't even talk to me unless I believe everything he believes. So I can't talk to someone like that.
That's good, smart.
Yeah,
good on you.
But anyways,
So for someone who's like, really,
but he's like Orlando though. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
He's like Orlando. He's got a personality of that. He thinks he's like a chosen one. You know what I'm saying? He thinks he's like a special person getting inspiration from the divine muse.
Have you ever seen? There's like an Indian guy who does that. Right.
But people like that, you got to be careful with, because that cult of personality thing can be really dangerous.
Yeah, how
Because
you wield
people
that.
start following people into areas where it's just not healthy. You got to be your own person. Don't let somebody tell you what to think ever. Be your own person no matter what.
Isn't that really odd? So recently we did a video talking about the cultic tendencies of Ammon Hillman, and then here we have Neal, who knows a lot about what has happened behind the scenes. And Neal also just coincidentally happens to be talking about things that it almost like he seems to hint that, oh, people are doing cultic things that are very unhealthy and dangerous. And would you look at that? In our other video, we talked about unhealthy things that people were doing because of Ammon. So you heard it from Neal himself. If anybody knows Ammon the best, it's going to be him, okay? And Ammon, he rejects him for a simple, silly little argument about a dating of a text. For something like that, that has a lot of red flags, a lot. One that might not be as clear to many people is that if you can't even disagree in a kind way and still be friends with someone that's really, really close to you, if you have to disown someone for simply disagreeing on the dating of a text, then what do you think they're going to do? What do you think Ammon's going to do when he comes against like an actual scholar that disagrees with him, one that he's not friends with? Do you think he's going to actually listen to the scholar's arguments? Or do you think he's going to be trying to disown him, not talk to him again? Interestingly enough, we actually saw an interaction with Ammon Hillman when he talked with Kip Davis in a debate. And would you look at that? Do you know how the conversation ended? Ammon Hillman just happened to be basically judging Kip's motives and throwing out insults at him. What a weird coincidence. It's almost like Ammon doesn't do well with people that disagree with him. And I'll just be honest. I think from an educational perspective, it would be almost impossible for me to trust anybody like that, because you would never know when they are not giving you the full facts. Maybe they don't know the full facts, but maybe it's because they don't actually listen to people that they disagree with. Like, what are the chances that he's making all these different arguments that all the scholars in the world, only him, he's the only one in the world that believes there's something about a specific text. It's wild claims. Nobody else believes it except for him. Coincidentally, he's not an expert in said topics. And would you look at that? Of course, like why would we even be surprised at this? Because I mean, do we have any real reason to think that he even reads the scholarship on that topic? And now that I think about it, it's also very interesting that, like, yeah, I've had scholars on my channel to talk about Ammon's work, and coincidentally, he hasn't responded to those either. He hasn't given any actual response to Daniel McClellan when Daniel McClellan responded to him. Isn't that just so odd that he doesn't seem like he wants to actually put any real interaction with people in the scholarly world, and at the same time won't even talk to his own friend, or well, apparently they're not friends anymore, at least. But anyways, does all of this mean that Ammon's wrong about the Hebrew and the Greek text, or the Gospels, or Jesus? Is he wrong about all of that based off of this? No, obviously not. But what you can be pretty confident about is that he's probably not looking at the best scholarship on this. Because if he can't have a simple conversation with a friend that disagrees with him, then he certainly isn't going to be looking to the most high quality research that disagrees with his viewpoint. And if he's not going to be willing to do that, then he would never know that he's wrong. So either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's really sad to see. I hate this for Neal. It's really, really sad. But I am glad that you went public about this, because Ammon's followers deserve to know who Ammon is and what to think about his scholarship. But either way, thank you so much for watching, everybody. And I hope you watch the next videos that we've talked about Ammon. And otherwise, thank you so much. I hope you have a good one.